Hey guys, it's Ron Osborne, the Travel Doc. Now, I don't do product reviews very often, and I'm not being paid to do this one. But I have ordered something new that I've never used before, and it is a brand new battery grip to go on the bottom of my Canon M50 Mark II. I think you're gonna love this. All right, well, as you know, there is a supply chain issue taking place in our country right now. That means that a lot of product that would normally come overseas and be distributed would be distributed all over the United States is now sitting out in the Pacific Ocean somewhere on a freight liner. But I ordered a package that I got in the mail today, finally, from Custom Battery Grips. It comes in a very nondescript box like this, very simple, just a sticker on top. This company is unique because they are making something that even Canon has opted not to make, at least thus far. A battery grip is something that takes a much larger battery than what you would normally get on one of your, for your camera. And it extends the life of you taking pictures or shooting video, whatever the case might be, for a much longer period of time, up to 10 times longer than what one of these little batteries last in your camera. So I was anxious to try this, so I reached out to Custom Battery Grips and I ordered one for myself. They did not send it free, I paid for this. So I want to give you just an honest review as someone that is not a photographer, not really a videographer. I'm just an amateur novice, just like a lot of you. I will say that when I ordered this product from Custom Battery Grips, the turnaround time was about a week to 10 days. With all of the supply chain issues, it took about a month and a half to get the product to me. It was a little concerning because they didn't reach out to me. I had to reach out to them, and then they were very apologetic, whatever. So you open the product up and it just comes very simply wrapped. I mean, who doesn't love bubble wrap, right? Tape to bubble wrap. And what you get is just a product like this. Comes with a dummy battery. That just is what your battery pack will plug into, and this battery grip. Made out of just plastic. Now the thing that I really like about this, other than some previous models that I looked at, was that this particular battery grip has the turnstile rather than a screwdriver needed to put that on. Now, it was a little anticlimactic because I just popped this off, but the side piece that holds the battery pack just has a little ridge right here, and you just pop that off. I believe these are magnets on the bottom that kind of clip that into place. It's not very difficult to take off, obviously. You just get your fingernail under that and just pop that off, and it comes right off for you. Now that holds the battery pack. Now it takes two batteries in order to make this operate and function perfectly. Now I ordered ahead, and these thankfully came in a little bit earlier. This will not take a regular, say like a AA battery. It's not designed for that. I ordered the NCR 18650B, like boy. It's a little bit larger battery. Now I got the 4-pack and I ordered the charger. This is from Snado. It's the D4 model. It's made specifically for these batteries. And the reason I went ahead and ordered a 4-pack was simply because I don't like to run out of power. I don't anticipate running out of power while I'm out doing videography or something like that for this YouTube channel. But I wanted to make sure that I always have 2 good batteries in the camera, 2 fully charged batteries, just as a backup in case I need them. Now I will also tell you that in addition to these batteries, that I do always like to keep these handy little Canon batteries in my backpack, just ready to go in case they're needed. This is just the standard battery that comes with the Canon M50 Mark II. So what I understand we do, by the way, there's no instructions, no directions at all that comes with this. So I relied on a couple YouTube videos to maybe help me navigate this a little bit. The dummy battery has what looks like a regular connection point that would go inside the camera. On the back side of it, you can't see that, but there's a little tiny hole, and that is for the charger to fit down inside of that, as so. So this battery pack will just go down inside the camera, clips in place just like any other would. Now I did charge both of these batteries up prior to this, so they've been on the charger. They should be good. Now, what I read was how vitally important it is that you get your batteries put in the right way. You don't want to cause a problem with the extra power of this going in the wrong way. One thing that I've noticed is that these fit really nice and snug in the charger. You know, there's nothing worse than some of these more cheaply made products where your batteries fit really loose and you can kind of roll them in place. That's not the case with this particular model. Again, the Snado, I believe it's Snado, model D4. So this is a really nice product is with regard to making sure that you have a nice tight fit. Now, the way I've seen this done is that this just slides in with this part first, and it just real loosely fits in place. There's no clip. Maybe that would have been a good idea for the product, to maybe have a release clip right there, although that's just another part to break or fail. But this particular one, it just slides right in place. Your magnetic door, which does have an offset, goes on and it clips in place, and that's very secure. No problems that I anticipate at all with that product. It took a little bit of extra doing there. I didn't want to take my battery release compartment off the camera. I may still end up having to do that. I really don't want to do that. So I'm gonna back this off for a second, and I'm gonna go ahead and plug in my battery pack. And I'm hoping you can't see it, it's really dark in there, but there seems to be enough room that I should be able to perhaps go ahead and plug it in and then fasten this down with no problem. At least I hope that's the case. I did tell you that I don't do this for a living, right? This seems to be there it is, okay. So what I'm really going to try to do is put this back in here and go ahead and plug it in the camera in hopes that I don't have to remove the door. So that would just plug in to the dummy battery. Looks like it may be okay. I'm going to tighten that down and see. Hope that I'll take a look at it partway through and make sure that we've got everything as we hope it is, should be. It's really awkward. They could have very easily put a bigger dial on this to turn this. It actually is very awkward. You really have to use 2 fingers, one on either side, in order to tighten this down appropriately, and it doesn't seem to even I don't have very long fingers, so this is very awkward to do to tighten this down. Oh, there it's going. Okay. Oh, very good. And I was right. It does allow for the door to remain open slightly like that. I don't really get my camera out in the cold or wet, so to speak. So I'm not really that concerned about anything getting up inside there. And it is tucked away down in there. But I'll tell you this right now, as someone with a little bit bigger hand, this is a game changer. This is really, really comfortable to hold on to. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. One thing, not having a lot of experience with cameras and such, I did have an old Canon EOS Rebel T5 that I've had for about 10 years or more, and I liked the way it felt. So when I went with the Canon M50 Mark II, the first thing you notice is that the camera size is so much smaller, and it always felt like I was at risk of dropping it, like I didn't have enough to really hold on to. That's one thing that I really like just right off the bat. You can tell they put some time into the ergonomics of hand placement and things like that. It really does seem to fit my hand really well. Even in the back, without adding a lot of weight, obviously there's some because you've added a double battery pack on that. But the big test comes right now, and we need to see if this thing is going to turn on like we hoped it would. And I got a big nothing burger. Okay, with the battery door still on, I don't have a way of accessing that to make sure that that's pushed down appropriately. I believe it is. It didn't feel loose at all. My batteries are in place. I got nothing. Let me work on this a little bit. I'll get right back with you. Okay, well, we're back a couple YouTube videos later, and some of the simplest things are the things that frustrate you the very most. I started going through the process of looking at all the items that could be failing to keep me from powering up. And what it came down to was on the Canon M50, closing the door isn't enough. It has to click and latch before it would power up. Now, it took me a minute to figure that out. Then it took me another video to figure out that the slide button right here on the bottom of the camera actually opens up to reveal the hole on the dummy battery. That should be the game changer. So we're going to start this process from the beginning, and we're going to see if we get some better traction this time. You know, one of the things that is frustrating as a novice is that all of the videos out there seem to be made for people that just have a knowledge of cameras. This is so foreign to me, and I'm still learning and trying to figure this out. And it's really frustrating when people just jump A, B, C, D, E, and they're just assuming that you know exactly what they're talking about, which I don't. So maybe I'll highlight a couple of the videos that I watched that helped me along the way, that were very careful to go step by step through this process. So I have the dummy battery back inside, close that. Then I can open that and it reveals the hole right on the bottom. So this should really eliminate my problem. Now, what I get to do is go through the whole dreadful process again of putting this base back on. This will be a great place for what I learned is called a speed ramp. So we will bump through this, and you can see every agonizing moment of me doing this, trying to get this crazy base to lock on to the camera. You know, something as simple as a one piece of paper instruction would have been nice to go with this. Hey, that actually went on pretty easily this time. I guess the second time is a charm because that went right on. Without the 1,000 crank workout on it. So again, we're putting this in this way so that I have that. If you leave the battery pack out a little bit, it gives you a little more space inside here because space is kind of a premium in this, especially if you have big fingers like I do. Big fingers, terrible light. Okay. It seems that I have that pressed in place, have the battery pack pushed in. All is well in the force. Locked down. Now the moment of truth. And looky there, we have picture. Unlock the lens. And we have power. So that's a really great thing. And let me just say again, and yeah, as frustrating as some of these minor little things can be, I am a huge fan of this. I love this little camera. At first, I will admit that I had a little bit of buyer's remorse. I still at times wish that I got a full frame sensor rather than the crop sensor that's in the Canon M50 Mark II. I've been thrilled with the pictures that it takes, and I'm fairly certain that most of my issues are user error rather than, camera error. But there have been times, especially with regard to taking pictures of the Milky Way, I think that if I had that full frame sensor, that I could have gotten a lot better end result than I did with my Canon M50 Mark II. But overall, I love the weight of it. I love the size of it, especially with the battery grip. If you look here, you can see that it just fits my hand really well. It seems to be a really comfortable fit, and I'm honestly looking forward to getting this out there and just trying the product out and seeing what this looks like with regard to real world applications. So that's it, custom battery grip. Great product, very comfortable to hold on to. Ergonomically, it's the bomb. As we wrap up this segment on the custom battery grip, let me just encourage you that if you are just like me, just kind of getting by, trying to figure out the whole photography and vlogging realm and space, would you please hit subscribe and like this video? If it's been any help at all to you, I'm happy to make the mistakes so that you don't have to. Subscribing and liking and sharing this video does so much to help me along in this process. I can't tell you what it means to me to have you there following along. I'm Ron Osborne, the Travel Doc. I'm here to cure all of your travel troubles. Have a great day.